All right, guys. So welcome to newer agent training. I'm going to change it from new agent training. And today we're going to talk about some best business practices. I have spent the better part of this week kind of drilling down into my business. So I'm going to do this class a little bit different than I've done it in the past. So if you've watched it before, it will be different. I'm going to show you my personal goals, because hopefully, Brandon, you can be a good accountability partner for me. If you see me messing up towards my goals, you'll know what they are. And then I'm going to share with you some things that I'm doing from a business plan standpoint. This is the time of year. That's why I think this class is great, because we can talk about how do we plan today so that we can have a really awesome 2022. And part of this is by taking inventory of where we currently are in our business. So I've done that. As some parts are pretty, some parts not so pretty. So I'll share all that today. I just shared it with our team, and I think transparency can be a beautiful thing. So let me share my screen real quick. Let's say that. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Can you see my screen okay? Brandon, thumbs up. Perfect. All right. So today, some topics we're going to just cover real quick. We're going to talk about setting goals. Around this time last year, we had the amazing Jen Schiff come, and she did a whole presentation, which is going to be much better than what I'm going to do today. So if you need something much more detailed, I will tell you, go back in Freedom Builders and watch that video. She did an amazing job of talking about, again, doing your inventory, looking at your goals, and then really planning it to the finest detail. I'll share mine today as well. We're also going to talk about time blocking. It's the thing that we all hate to do, but we even talked about it in our meeting today. It's super important because it helps you manage your money-making time, because without it, we will do other things that are more fun than making those follow-up calls or just calling period. So time blocking can be really, really important. Also going to talk quickly about the value of a CRM and how to organize your life and create some efficiencies. Knowing your numbers, accountability, which is near and dear to my heart. And then we'll talk about a business plan, budget. And again, I'll show you some of my things. I'm going to get raw and show you how much money I'm making and how much money I'm spending. All right, so setting goals. Why is it important? And I'll tell you, it's probably one of the most important things that you can do, because it's amazing by having it tangibly in front of you. Like the last couple of weeks, myself and the people that work with me, we have written down all of our goals. I'm not talking about just business goals, but personal, health, financial, family goals. And by writing it down, it has been top of mind for the last couple of weeks. I can't tell you how productive I've been. And I can't tell you that I'm already making strides today for my 2022, because I've done some of the work, still working on it, to write my goals down so that's in front of me. The work that you're doing today will translate to quarter one. What we don't want to do is wait till January 1, where you're already probably 45 to 60 days behind, right? Because of selling cycles. So if you wait till January, I will tell you, it will put you behind on your 2022 goals. So keep that in mind. But I will tell you too, to also start off with your why. And that seems so general. Everybody says it, right? It's almost hokey at this point. What's your why? Brandon, what's your why? Everybody's why is different. And I will tell you to dive down deeper than what you think you want to. All of us will say our family. I can't say that my family is not a significant part of it, but it's not my entire story. It's not my entire why. I want to pour into people. I want for you guys to be successful. I like to give. That's a huge part of my why. That's the things that set my world on fire, that get me excited, that get me passionate, that gets me thinking about my future. Whatever that is, and however you want your life to look like, I just want you to spend some time really diving deep into that. Journal on it. Not what your life looks like today, but what you want it to look like. And what gets you excited, passionate, what keeps you up at night. Hold on a second. Let me go a little. There we go. All right, I think I got this. All right, so really do some exploration. And I will tell you, beyond just writing like financial goals or a number, I find visualization incredibly powerful. And if you can still see me briefly, maybe in the corner as a talker, I'm in the room with Carrie, and I'm going to put her on blast real quick. But that's her vision board. I'm sitting at her desk because mine, the sun was putting me on fire. But she has her vision board in front of her every single day. And what does it look like? She has some pictures of St. John. She has some investment properties because that's really important to her. Be still, I've got this. She also has her financial goal up on a board that she looks at every single day. The one that you see a little picture of right here is my vision board. So we spent some time not only writing the goals down, but also what would it look like? How would that make me feel to have this life? Does it get me excited? Would it get me through some of those really tough days? I would say yes. If I could live this life, it would be a life of freedom, choosing the time, how to spend the time, how I want to. And it also helps me feel like I'm in control. It's not about letting life happen to me. I'm actually creating the life that I want to lead. So goals are super important. Now, naturally, in real estate, we're going to talk about, some financial goals and transactional goals too. This is one example of a spreadsheet that you can find online. This is one that we actually used to use in call group when we were with Keller Williams. So just know that there's tons of these out there. And what it is a net income activity worksheet. So what I would do, I would sit with a lot of our newer agents and we would determine what they wanted to take home after taxes. So most agents will tell you 6 figures. That would be a good financial goal for them is $100,000. Well, that's great. But what activities do I need to do? And how many closings would I need to have in order to get that amount? So we did the math, and I will give you some worksheets where you can do the math too, where you can figure out what would that look like before taxes. Then if I'm going to take taxes out, and actually my tax rate here is probably too low. Caps, we were on a team, so our caps are a little bit lower. Expenses, which is really low right here, but that's a team setting, right? Because the team is taking care of some of those expenses. So as an agent on the team, your expenses out of pocket would be lower. So then what would my GCI goal be for the month and for the year? And then how many closings did I need to do in order to make that amount? So by using this calculation form, it would have told me that I needed to do 36 deals per year to bring home $100,000. So the reason why this is important is because, Laura, if you tell me you want to make $100,000, that's such a large number. It's hard for you to figure out what is it going to take to get that 100,000. So I implore you all, I think some simple, and Carrie and I've been doing a lot of this too, is if you know what you need, how many deals you need to close by the end of the year, and then you can back it up even smaller, right? So then that's 3 closings per month. And then you could kind of do some math, right, on your conversion rates. All right, well, how many buyers do I need to have in my car per week in order to get that number of closings per month, to get that number of closings per year? So find some calculators because it helps you track as you go. What I hate for newer agents and what I don't want you guys to do is to not be able to track and see how you're doing until 6 months or 9 months down the road, right? Because then you're already behind the 8 ball. If you can determine the number of closings or the number of appointments that you can make in order to get to those numbers, then you could track that weekly. And that's what we're doing on our team now to try to understand that a little bit more. So let me show you a couple of things for some examples. All right, so I will tell you, I want to work on this to make it even tighter. It's one thing for me to say, I want to make $360,000 this year. It's a good goal, right? I think we could all be happy with that amount. How many closings would that mean for me? And then what type of activities do I need to do weekly and daily in order to get that amount? Because dreams are nothing without action, unfortunately. And that's where we also can get into some negative headspace and feel like we're not being successful. So I want to track, look at all my activities every single week to make sure that I'm doing what it takes to make my financial goals. So here it is, I'm sharing. These are my 2022 goals. Personally, I want to close 50 deals. So that's one per week. For me, that's kind of easy. And I will tell you, Carrie and I were talking today, it's amazing by writing that number down. So the last couple of weeks, I've closed a deal per week. And then I've had a client reach out to me today and she said, can we go see this property this afternoon? And I'm almost manifesting this. I can't tell you how crazy it is. And I was like, that's my deal this week. So I'm thinking about things in different ways because I know one per week is just in my head. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm nurturing, finding, follow-upping, talking to my warm to hot people to determine who's that one going to be this week. And then I have it in my mind. It almost feels more tangible to me. Now, as your new agent, this may seem like bigger numbers, but it's really not. Maybe you want to do 24 this year. So that's one every other week, right? So just think about it in smaller increments. How am I going to do it? What are the activities I'm going to do to get there? Make follow-up calls 2 times per week. We do that as a group from 9 to 11. So we have that time blocked on our calendar. Expired for sale by owner circle prospecting calls 2 times per week, at least 5 conversations per day. I need to probably bump that up to 10 if I'm going to get to 50. Social media every single day, expand video content, referral programs. I'm working on something with my fellow agents that have been kind enough to refer to us. I want to expand that program. Newsletter, created a new one for our past clients, current clients, and all of our nurturers. Listing focuses and another reach out. So that's kind of my just basic personal business goals. I have a health focus, you guys will notice. I have a personal development. I want to read 1 business book per month, and I've already written down at least maybe 8 books that are on my list. I want to explore more. I want to be more creative, and I want to diversify my business. Part of me doing my inventory today is kind of excited. I found out that I have made about $30,000 in revenue share for 2021. I had to know where I was before I know where I can go next year, right? So that I can't tell you how excited that made me because you just see these little deposits and sometimes you don't do the math. So when I did it, then I could understand the power of it, and then I can expand in that market too. So goal number 6, diversify my business. I need to break out more details on how I'm going to do it. But just to show you guys some basics, don't let the thought of writing down goals scare you so much that you just don't do anything with it. And then just real quickly, we'll go over this a little bit more because I'm going to talk about a business plan at the end. But this is also what I'm doing for us. So I figured out how many deals each of us wants to make, what our average sales, and that's based on facts. My average sales price is $451. Carrie's kicking my ass at $486. Yeah. This will be our GCI goal, our net commission goal, and then our company portion at the end of it. So if we pull this off, I have the potential of earning about $950,000 next year. Now I have to execute the plan to get there. But boy, that's a nice number I like looking at. And don't you think I'm going to hold myself accountable and I'm going to hold my ladies accountable? Because if I get what I want, they get what they want, right? And it's all about love here. It's all about accountability and love. You do it because you want people to get what they want to. So to do this, we're going to have to close 13.5 per month. Closings needed per week is 3. So 3 out of the 4 of us are going to need to put a deal on the board in order to make this number happen. And so then every month we're going to track it, right? We're going to see how we are because we may need to readjust. Or what if we bring on a new agent? Or what if an agent leaves us? We'll have to readjust some of this as we go. But I don't want my ladies to also get into June and July and have, oh shit, I'm not hitting my goals. And now what's wrong? Then it's hard to fix things. So I hope this makes sense. Put some plans in place to what your goals. Wouldn't this make you excited when you start really breaking it down, right? And then every week I can say, well, then if I know I need maybe 4 appointments per week and I'll put one under contract, that's pretty low conversion rate, but there's not a lot of inventory out there too. Then I know how many appointments I need to make in order to get to that one under contract every single week. But I'm going to know early in the game if I am tracking towards my goals. All right, peeps. Here is one sheet that is in the Freedom Builders file section. It is mapping out your goals. This is one from Jen Schiff. So I encourage you to take a look at it. She does just this. She helps you do that math to back into your numbers. So if you just know like how much money I want to make, that's usually how newer agents start. I don't know how many transactions it's going to take to get there. I don't know how many appointments. They just know I want to make $150,000 this year. So these sheets will help you get into that math. All right, so that was quick on goals. We're going to move a little bit into block schedules. This is near and dear to my heart too. And we were laughing this morning. I don't know about y'all, but my phone does not ring until about 11:30. Just doesn't. So if you're going to prospect, if you're going to grow your business, I really encourage you to look at that 9 to 11, 8 to 11 slot. Ideally, it'd be great if you were doing some role play from 7:30 to 8 and then roll into making some phone calls from 8 to 11. If you tell me you want a big business, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to put in a lot of effort to do that lead gen, right? To follow up with people, to do some lead prospecting, like calling or whatever it is you're doing for lead gen. You're going to have to put a lot of hours and effort there. But block schedules can help you kind of make all of that noise feel a little bit more organized in the course of your day. As agents, we're mostly really great salespeople, but we also have a really high case of ADHD. So as things start coming in through the day and start impacting us, we allow that usually to kind of derail our day. The reason why I mentioned that morning slot is I really feel like it's quiet in real estate. I don't get the frantic call typically from the attorney or the other side agent or the inspection court until usually in the afternoon anyway. So if I'm diligent about getting up and getting all my stuff done and getting on the phones, I can get all of that done and know that I'm growing my business before the day gets out from under me. So you can use some categories and you can also run dual Google calendars. So you could have like an ideal work schedule and you can have that showing all the time. And then you could simultaneously run another calendar that's like your real calendar. And why it's helpful to have a time block is if someone wants to make an appointment with you, in the beginning, you'll have to learn your blocks. And then you go, oh, yeah. Actually, at 10:30, I've got another appointment. Would 1:30 work for you? Most of the time it does work fine for our clients. They just are throwing a time out there. That's not always the case. But I'm telling you, if you know what you're supposed to be doing in those blocks, then you're much more equipped to be able to like reschedule someone potentially in the afternoon. I'm going to show you an example of a time block schedule in an ideal work week. Buffer time, that will be time to respond to emails, text messages, and return phone calls. I'm a person that likes to check my email and my text messages first thing in the morning. And if I can respond to it and take care of it, I will, instead of pushing it off. If something requires more than a quick response, then try to handle that in your admin time section. Truly, most people are working themselves. So if you respond at 11:30, it's usually not the end of the day. And you are training your clients on how to treat your time too. If you're a business professional, attorneys don't just drop everything to answer the phone when someone calls. They just don't. They treat themselves as professionals. Doctors are the same way. So it takes a little bit to get there, but you do have to command your time. You may want some project time, and that will be dedicated for longer term projects. Again, you can run some dual calendars so you can see my ideal versus my real-time calendar. And you'll just need to categorize how much time you need to spend in each category too. So without further ado, again, this is red and it's busy and it looks hateful, but it's a decent example of an ideal work schedule. Again, buffer zone, first thing I want to make sure no fires happened. Script practice on someone else before you start calling clients. It's also great just for objection handling, even if you're not a cold caller, just so you can handle objections on your feet a little bit more. It gets you dusted off and gets you ready for the day. So if you can get in the habit of script practice, it's really awesome. Prospecting, however the bigger the business you want, probably the number of hours you need to dedicate to this. And then, you have some other things. Follow up. When you're doing prospecting, don't just start setting up listing alerts after you talk to someone. Save some of that admin work into the tail end of it. Buffer zone in the afternoon is really like admin, finishing up the working in your business. And then, previewing homes, doing some videos, doing social media, creating content, your projects. And then you can adjust the afternoon. Tina Call would always say, if you make your calls in the morning and you're making your appointments and you do your time block, I don't really care what you do in the afternoons. That's the most important thing. If you don't have a lot of transactions, you're trying to grow that business. So you may do more prospecting in the afternoon. All right, we're moving on. This is like quick little blips. Work smarter, not harder. The value of your CRM. And a CRM can really be any one of them. Sometimes people ask, do you like Sync better? Do you like KV Core better? Do you like Follow Up Boss better? I'll tell you the one that's a good CRM is the one that you're going to use. If it's a piece of paper on an Excel spreadsheet and that's what you got, use it. Tina talks about doing the note cards. That's old school a little bit, but it's a system, right? And it would work. So whatever system you want to employ, just put one into place. And as new agents, it may not feel like it, but this is the time to start your processes. I like a CRM because everyone can be there, whether it's my sphere, past clients, current clients, whatever, everyone is there. And if I'm making my follow-up calls in the morning, guess what? We're all sitting in front of our computer, going through our CRM, making our calls. You can also train your CRM to tell you who to call. It would say, Brandon, here's your tasked people to call today. These are the ones that are on your schedule. And then you don't have to think every time you get in front of your phone, well, who the hell am I calling today? Allow the system to help you. Also, when you wrap up talking to someone, close for the next follow-up. Hey man, it was great talking to you today. It seems like you guys are probably 2 to 3 months out. I get it. I'm going to set you up on a listing alert. But if you don't mind, I'll call you back in maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. I'll just check in, make sure everything looks good to you. How's that sound? They say yes. Then I task myself to call them in 2.5 weeks. So then when I log into my CRM every morning, I know again exactly who to call. Categorize your people. And we'll do this together when we look at KV Core. Hot, warm, nurturer. You want to be able to organize people because believe it or not, you will have a dozen clients and then next thing you know, well, not clients, but leads. Next thing you know, you'll have hundreds, 500s, and then you'll have 1,000. So start today on trying to categorize and add information so you know who they are. Again, we talked about this on Monday. Every single buyer, I don't care if they're 5 years out, I'm probably going to put them on a listing alert because people like to look at pretty houses. I may not give them one of those alerts where they're getting stuff as it comes on the market ASAP. I may just set them up on a listing alert where they get it once a day if they're further out. But those are easy drips and you're giving them what they want. Sellers, every seller. I don't care, again, if they're 5 or 10 years out. This is actually great for people you close. As part of your closing speech to them. It's been great servicing you guys. What I like to do for my sellers is just to put you on a market report so that you can monitor your appreciation. You can see how your neighborhood is performing in the market. You'll just get it once a month, so it doesn't spam you to death. But it just kind of keeps you educated on your neighborhood. How does that sound? Okay, most people are great with that. And then every single month, even years later, they get one email a month that has Brandon's face on it, and they go, "Wow, that's great." You're staying in front of people. All right, again, the CRM is truly you're trying to build a massive database. Information is power, and it has value right now. That's why some of these firms are battling. And Zillow, right, is for information. You're kind of doing the same thing. You're building a database. So just add systems to be able to manage it, when to contact people as well. Create some efficiencies. Think about it that way. Right, we're not going to talk a ton about this because we did on Monday. So know your numbers. Again, we just talked about goals. If you know your numbers, you will know how many dials it takes to make a connection and how many connections on average it takes for you to make an appointment. And then what's your conversion rate between appointments to actually getting somebody under contract. So track everything. It's the only real way to have a duplicatable business. But I will tell you the thing that it tells you the most is your skill versus will. When you want to have that reflection on yourself, maybe some accountability, why am I not hitting my numbers, right? Why am I not where I want to be? And part of that sometimes is you have to come to the conclusion, or maybe someone can help you. Where is the deficiency? Is it skill or will? So skill to me is if you're doing all the activities, right? If we go back and we look and we're saying, Gina's making 200 phone calls per week, and she's making 5 appointments, but she's just not getting any listings. I would say her will is incredibly high, right? She's doing the work. She's making the calls, but her conversion rate is really low. And if Gina knows that, then she could say, I probably need to get a coach, or I need to practice more. My skill is not where I need it to be. There's something amiss there. And that's powerful knowledge, because sometimes we just keep going and keep doing and just hoping and praying it gets better. And then the one that worries me the most, though, is when you're not getting enough appointments and you come to the conclusion it's will. I can motivate you. I can inspire you. I can stand over you and almost threaten you to do it. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to do the activities and the work. So if you're not making enough calls, if you're just sitting in your house, right, and you're not reaching out to anyone, you're not doing anything, you're literally praying to the gods that a client drops in your lap. You could be the most skilled salesperson on the planet, but your will may be weak. And then we have to figure out why that is. So that is what tracking your numbers will really do. Because if you tracked it all, how many dials you made, how many appointments you made, how many conversations you had per week, I would almost guarantee if you tracked it over a period of time, like a year, you would see the weeks that your will was really high, you might be able to outperform your skill. But again, the most seasoned, best salesperson out there, if they're not doing enough activities, they will probably not hit their goals. So track your numbers so you can help determine where your deficiencies are. And most agents or sales manager could probably sit down with you and really help you determine what that is. But you've got to be real with your numbers. All right. All these little tracking sheets. I've sent a couple of these out from Monday's class too. So any of these sheets work. It's just the act of doing it and compiling it and know what your activities are. All right, let's move on to accountability. I've touched on this, I feel like, as we've gone along, right? Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the result. We all hate accountability. Most of us probably left the corporate world because we're really sick and tired of somebody telling us what to do. And then we come to the harsh reality of companies are really successful for one way or another, but mostly because there's managers and there's leadership in place that kind of help us do the things that we need to do to create results. So let's talk about accountability, because I believe that's really the piece for most people, that we don't have enough of it. So the probability of completing your goal. If you hear an idea and it just goes, ding, that's a really great idea. I've never really thought about that. You actually already have a 10% chance of hitting that goal by just hearing it and having a mental acknowledgement of it. It's actually pretty strong. Absolutely no effort. You heard the idea, the seed was planted rather. Now, if you have that decision where you say to yourself, not only did that sound good, I'm going to do that. You go from 10 to 40. Now, I just showed you guys goals, writing down, putting a plan in place. By doing that, just that alone, I have a 50% shot of hitting my goals. I don't really like those odds. I mean, that's okay. It's better than the 10% or the just hoping that I accomplish something. But if I tell someone, and this is part of the reason why I share a lot of this with you guys or share it with my team, by 65%, just by telling someone that I'm going to do it, I have a probability of hitting that goal. You guys saw what my financial goal was. 65%, we're getting there, right? 95%. If every single week I sit with our team and I say, these are my results and these are the actions, and I did or did not do them. No excuses. I don't really care why you didn't do it. But do you recommit to that activity in order to hit that goal? 95%, that's almost 100% probability of hitting a goal if you meet with someone regular. That's pretty powerful. I'm going to do that because I really like my goal. And if I can say it out loud and I can have the people around me say, you're full of shit, you're not doing what you said you're going to do, and they tell me that because they love me, I'm okay with that. That's good love. That's a mom love right there. All right. So everybody on this call, I don't care if you're on a team or if you're working individually, get some. And this is the reason why I think teams have become really, really popular and powerful. Is because when we try to do things on our own, we may have great intentions, but we're either distracted or not entirely sure what to do. And then we're out there hustling, and then we still don't have maybe the people around us with that accountability piece. So teams have become very popular. And they're great. Believe me, I love it because there's so much support. I think we think about splits and we think about leads, but truly probably one of the most important things that a team can offer is the accountability piece. But you don't have to have a team because you have to give up a lot, right, to have that. Accountability partners can be great. Now, I will tell you, do not find someone that you're just nice friends with. You need someone that you have a business relationship with, that you're not going to be on the phone with maybe for 2-3 hours. Someone that you can call probably once a week for maybe 15-20 minutes. And it's a standing call. You don't miss it. You say, here are my goals for the week. This is what I did, and this is what I didn't do. Again, where it can kind of feel long is when people start getting into the excuses. I really don't care why you didn't do it. We all have stuff in our life, right? But at the end of the day, it's usually a choice on whether you did that activity or not. Again, your mom would tell you that. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So find someone maybe that's a little bit different from you, because I think that can be positive relationships, as we can fill some gaps with one another. But find someone just to call it once a week and just check in with them. 15 minutes really shouldn't be like forever. A lot of folks spend money on coaches, and coaches serve this purpose as well. They'll charge you, I don't know, $1,000 a month at least to basically do the same thing, right? What are your goals? What are your activities? Did you accomplish it? Did you not? And they may help you see things from a different perspective. But if you need some accountability, a coach may be a good place to start. Technology, if you're technology driven, you may be more of that mindset. CSU, CTE, there is some technology in place that will help you track. And it may give you that mental, oh shit, I'm not doing what I need to do moment too. So keep that in mind. Check in at least once per week, goals versus productivity. All right. Man, I'm going pretty fast today. I felt like I was going to go slow. That's all right. We may finish up a little bit early. All right, business plan. More than anything, I would encourage you guys to either do a screenshot of these questions or write a few of them down for later, because I think it does take some reflection before you just do a business plan. Because my goals are going to be different than your goals, and they should be because we're different people. So just almost just take notes, right? Of just what you want this thing to look like. And believe me, it's okay. If you just want to sell 4 or 5 homes per year, if that's your personal goal, that's okay. That's your personal goal. All right. Are you reacting or are you being proactive in your business? I want you to be honest with yourself on that. I would tell you that most of us are probably very reactionary. Who and how are you going to market yourself to? Break this down to the finest detail. Take some notes on it. Where are you going to market? How often are you going to market? That'd be a great accountability piece. And we're starting to do that. Post on social media every single day. And we check in with each other. How many times this week did you do Facebook? How many times this week did you do Instagram? It takes that level of detail. What is your financial investment in this new business? Some people may come to it and they have a nest egg of $20,000 and they want to invest. How are you going to spend it? A lot of people out there with their hands out to take your money as a real estate agent. So plan that out a little bit. How much do I need to make in order to be profitable? Like write down your bills, like legit. It may surprise you. It may scare some of you, but you need to know that number because that will motivate you. Like to keep my lights on and to keep gas in my car, I need to make X number of dollars. Okay, well, maybe I don't want to live quite that broke, but now I know what my dead even number is. And how are you going to plan on tracking your profits and expenses? Because you do need to do that you're a business owner now. And so you will need to track this. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Again, I'll show you just a spreadsheet. All right, I pulled this handy dandy little thing off the internet, but I do agree with it. 7 components of a real estate business plan. And just because you're an individual agent does not mean that there's not value into creating this. And actually, we did a SWOT analysis together as a group this morning. And it was the conversations that we had around it were really great because they were thinking of things that I was not. Strengths and weaknesses are your personal strengths and weaknesses. That's internal. Your opportunities and threats are external. So those are things that are happening to you and around you that you may not be able to control, but you can either mitigate or you can take advantage of. Specific goals, write them down. Strategic plan, write them down. Time frame, target audience, systems, and processes. All right, so kind of just wanted to go over real quick, and this again is super duper duper basic, which is the only reason why I'm showing you. So I think there's so many big agents online, and you start to look at it and you go, that's not where my business is. And it can feel overwhelming. So I just did a Excel spreadsheet and just had some just decent like little tabs. So I did my SWOT analysis, which again, we love this morning. I evaluated our 2021 deals. So for folks that have been in business for a little bit of time, not even a long time, I just did address, sales price, commission, GCI, if I paid a referral, split, my net commission, when I closed, and where that lead source came from. This part is important to me. And you can see I'm very heavy on referrals. But now I also know where I need to probably spend more money from a marketing standpoint, right? Because I want to love on my agents that have referred to us, and I want to love on my sphere, because that's where a good portion of my business is coming from. This is my personal business. All right, I showed you guys my goals and my tracking. Again, and these are some other deals. So at the total end of it, this year, Total commissions, I'll have made around 200,000. My rev share is at about 30,000. So my total commissions, well, total commissions and salary, not salary, but money's made. My revenue this year is 226, which is not bad for basically coming back into production in 9 months. I'm pretty proud of it. But here's the flip side: expenses. So I'm tracking everything that I'm spending money on, the amount, and then I'm also categorizing it. So I'm in process of doing all this. So what I will eventually do are take all these categories and see how much did I spend in marketing? How much did I spend in lead generation? And then I'm also going through all of these and thinking, what can probably give? Because that number looked great, right? I mean, 230, I think most people will be probably all right with that. But I think if I tally, and I'm not even done with October, this is taking forever, but I think my expenses, you'll see, will probably make you a little sick. That's not right. I think yesterday when I did it, it was like around 70,000. So 230 looks great, right? But there's a lot of expenses that went into that. So I'm glad I'm doing the minutia of this. I encourage all of you as you get started to track things, because return on investment, I don't mind spending money if it's going to make me money in the end. And some of these things I'm including because I'm going to write them off on my taxes and things like that too. Don't get me wrong. But keep it simple. You don't have to invest in some major program. An Excel spreadsheet's fine too. I can see this. And again, I'm going to further evaluate it into my categories, see where I can shave some money, and to truly see what my net, neutral number is too. Did I just make you want to vomit there, Brandon? I saw your face. You're like, what? It looked great on the first, right? Everybody's like, okay, that's good. That's good. I mean, at the end of it, after I close a few more deals, there's a few things pending. There's a little bit more rev share. Again, it's going to be fine. It's going to be better than fine. But my point of some of this is if you don't track your expenses, it will get out from under you a little bit. And it'll surprise you how much you're actually spending. So don't overcomplicate this, make something simple, but at least know where you are, because that's the only way you're going to know where to go in the end. So I'm going to finish early today. I cannot believe it. It's like a new thing for me. I'm always going like 30 minutes late. So any questions or any comments? I should make everybody share goals with me, I mean, I've put my stuff out there today. All right, guys. Well, have a great Thursday. I'm going to put the recording in Freedom Builder so you guys can check it out later on if you want. And then we'll pick this thing up on Monday. There will just be one session on Monday this week because of Thanksgiving on Thursday. I love you guys, but not so much to do a training class on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Pam.
Thanks.